Charlotte's story in Life is Strange True Colors is affected by many different choices throughout the game, but the single most impacting choice you can make that changes the way Charlotte and Alex interact throughout the game is made in Chapter 3, and that's whether you should take or leave Charlotte's anger.
This anger could kill her, and nothing I'm saying is helping. What if I could just take it away?
So let's talk about everything that changes if you make one choice or the other. But note, these are complete spoilers. I'm going to give away a bunch, and I really highly advise you to play the game on your own first before watching this. Definitely make your own choices, see what it feels, because the purpose of this game is to experience this for yourself. So come back here when you've played at least once before. Okay, let's set the scene. You're in Charlotte's art studio and she's experiencing the most intense and real moment, I think, of the entire game. It's just so raw and real. So you have the opportunity to tune into a different aspect of your powers than you ever have before. And that's really exciting as a game player. You want to do that. You want to be like, what is going to happen if I choose to take her anger from her? So let's start with leave her anger.
I can't. I'm sorry, Charlotte.
So upon that choice, you start walking out of the studio. Charlotte is obviously still upset. I mean, she's angry. She's not going to just change that, right? Because you didn't do anything. And you have the option to talk to her in a few different ways. You can apologize, you can reassure her, or you can say nothing.
I wish I could do something.
That makes two of us.
You're strong. You'll get through this.
I guess we'll find out.
After leaving the studio, Alex then goes back to her apartment where Steph and Ryan are there ready to investigate Typhon. Right away, Ryan engages in a conversation about how it went with Charlotte.
So, how did things go with Charlotte?
And because you chose to leave her anger, you have an option of I couldn't help her.
I don't know. She was hurting so much. I thought I'd be able to help her, but I couldn't.
If you couldn't help her, I'm sure no one could.
The it's kind of private option is there no matter if you choose to leave or take her anger, but the I couldn't help her is only there if you chose to leave it. Around this time, you can also look at Alex's journal. She will write a journal entry about Charlotte's anger. Most of this is identical whether you take or leave her anger, except for this section. But I didn't. I could have, but I didn't. I didn't know what it would do to her, who she would be after I took that pain away. It felt like such a violation. Hadn't she earned the right to be angry? I was so sure that I was helping people, that whatever else I am, I could at least offer this one thing to those who need it. But Charlotte's hurt is bigger than me, stronger. I have to hope that I could do more good by walking away than I could by meddling. After Alex listens to Gabe's emergency line phone call, Ryan will ask her,
You okay?
We're taking these fuckers down.
and they get ready to investigate together. Seems about right.
This USB stick has what I need. Time to dig through it.
But first, a MyBlock notification will come through from Mike. He'll write a post like, whoa, what was that? I heard a large crash. And because you left her anger, Charlotte's, not the happiest person right now. And she doesn't really care about her business appearance. So she just very shortly replies, everything's fine. And he's like, whoa.
Everything is so not fine.
Now still hold up before you jump into that laptop. Notice the foosball trophy on the table. You can look at it and say,
Gotta find joy in the little things. Right, Gabe?
seems pretty normal, right? No biggie. And stick around on this screen. If you wait long enough, Steph and Ryan will start this conversation.
Talk about looking for a needle in a haystack.
We're gonna get there. Don't worry.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sore.
From the LARP?
Yeah, I played 3 monsters. You made me run all over town.
Such a trooper.
Okay, hear me out before you shoot me down, all right?
No promises.
I'm Fred, obviously. Alex is Daphne. And Steph is Shaggy.
Oh, fuck you. I'm obviously Daphne.
Oh, you're obviously Daphne.
You wear glasses. You're Velma.
Fair.
And me,
You're Scooby.
star of the show, right here.
You can also tune into Steph's emotions, Ryan's emotions, and talk to them even further. What they say and feel will be different depending on choices you made earlier in the game that have nothing to do with Charlotte, so I'm not going to talk about that here. They will help you come up with reasons and guide you along the way, and you kind of work out this investigation together.
Email me when it's done. I will.
What the hell is Rhea?
Must have been pretty damn important.
Maybe Diane says more about it in her email?
Maybe. Let me see if I can find it.
But wait, before you leave the phone calls, Steph also makes a small comment about this phone call from Diane, saying that Gabe's death could have been prevented if somebody called the emergency line.
I almost threw up listening to that.
Same.
And now on to the emails.
So what is Rhea?
Rhea went off undetected. Was there a second blast that night?
They only had permits for one.
What did Lena say? Without the scheduled blast, Rhea would be discovered?
Shit. The blast that killed Gabe was just a cover for another explosion?
We didn't hear another explosion, though. It must have gone off somewhere else.
If we can find out where it was, that might tell us what it was for.
And after finding the Rhea file,
This is Rhea.
they look at Ryan's map together.
That's the site of the 2008 Typhon mine collapse.
Wait, they set off a blast in their current mine to cover up a blast in their old mine?
That shaft was exhausted years ago. There's nothing left to dig up. What could possibly be down there that's so important to them?
Typhon just had to pass a bunch of inspections at the old site, didn't they?
Yeah, so?
So, I don't think they were digging something up. They were burying something.
And your choices screen will show that Alex left Charlotte with her anger, and Steph helped Alex find out what Typhon was up to. Sure, why wouldn't she? In Chapter 4, you can look at the sculpture, and if you left her anger, Alex will think this.
I wish I could have helped Char. But taking her pain away didn't feel right.
And you can see the foosball trophy on the coffee table. You can't interact with it now, though. Now, still in Chapter 4, at the Spring Festival, after you have the most fabulous concert of your life, you then see Charlotte looking a little off. It's kind of indicated that she wants you to go with her, and the scene naturally brings you to that space where the two of you talk. The conversation unfolds with Charlotte's feelings.
I was horrible to you earlier.
You really weren't.
Really. Then I fucked up because I was trying pretty hard to be horrible to you. I was so excited about you coming to Haven. In my mind, the way I built it up, we were gonna be best friends.
She also admits that this kind of got in the way of their friendship, and she's not happy about that.
I wish.
And you have the option to say there's still time or me too.
I know. Me too. There's still time.
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
Regardless of this choice, Alex puts her arm around Charlotte, and in true Life is Strange fashion, the perfect music plays in the background to let us feel the weight of these complex emotions. Just like other moments of calm in these games, you can exit this embrace when you're ready. Once you do, they will finish their conversation.
Hey. You okay?
No. But, well, you know. I'm gonna go home.
There's still one more difference in Chapter 4, and it's in Alex's journal, but it's Pike's entry. Depending on whether you took Pike's fear or not, this section will be a bit different after leaving Charlotte's anger. If you sign the affidavit, it'll read, I thought of Charlotte. Learning that I could swallow her anger, not being able to bring myself to do it, and I knew I couldn't do that to Pike either, not without knowing what it might do to him. So I signed his fucking release. And if you took Pike's fear instead, I thought of Charlotte, how I could have swallowed her anger, how I didn't. I still don't know if that was the right call, but I knew that I needed Pike on my side, so I did it. And after you go back to your apartment, Alex can look at the trophy on the coffee table while thinking about Steph and Ryan's involvement.
Looks like I'm on my own now. I don't want to drag Ryan and Steph in any deeper.
And the end screen of Chapter 4 will show that Alex and Charlotte shared a bittersweet moment at the festival. Now, in Chapter 5, at the town council meeting, because you chose to leave Charlotte's anger, you can have 3 out of the possible 4 options for how she can support or not support Alex. One of those variations is not possible anymore, and I talk more about that in another video. It's also possible for Ryan to believe Alex at the town council meeting if other very specific choices are made. After the town council meeting, when you're in your apartment, walk over to that sculpture again. Looking at it will show that Alex is happy that she chose to leave her anger.
Even though it was hard, I'm glad I let Charlotte overcome her own anger. I think it gave her the strength to support me.
And a lot of text messages will also start popping up at this time. Make sure you navigate to Charlotte. Because you chose to leave her anger, she did support you in one of 3 ways. So you'll talk about that a little bit in your exchange. Now the endings. In Gabe's prediction about what will happen to Alex if she stays in Haven, you'll see Ethan and Charlotte in the apartment playing video games in the future. Not only that, but you'll also see Charlotte in a bar talking to a guy, perhaps one of the minors, and it appears she's having a great time, maybe on a date.
It's bullshit. We have a right to know what's happening to our jobs.
Do you think she's on a date with that angry minor?
It's hard to say.
Let me know in the comments if you think that too. And in the Seek Adventure ending, it is possible for Charlotte and Ethan to be at the bus stop to send Alex off by herself or whoever she's going with. There will also be a picture of Charlotte and Ethan, likely in LARP attire, in Alex's guitar case as she's on stage, really showing that they still have a connection and have been developing their friendship further, like they both said they wanted to at the Spring Festival when they were talking on the dock.
Hello, everyone.
And at the end of Chapter 5, your choices will either show that Charlotte sided with Alex during the vote, or Charlotte believed Alex but couldn't help. Okay, but what happens if you take her anger? Right away, obviously, you take her anger. You learn about your powers. It's kind of exciting that you can do this, right? And Charlotte seems great.
Alex?
I'm okay.
Are you okay? Yeah. Yes, I think so.
And it seems like it's okay, and it also feels kind of weird.
Shit. Did I freak out on you? I'm sorry, Alex. I'm not sure what came over me.
You get some dialogue options to check in with her more. You could either say, are you sure you're all right? Or no worries.
It's really okay. I'm a big girl. I can take it. Are you sure you're okay?
Yes, I think so. Just maybe I blacked out for a minute? I guess that's what happens when you don't sleep.
And then regardless of that choice, that detached feeling continues.
Huh. I wrecked my sculpture. Seems so crazy in here, but I feel How do I feel? Hey, go home. You're exhausted. I'm serious. It's okay. I'll see you tonight.
And so Alex leaves, feeling unsure about her decision. So after taking her anger, you go back to your apartment to do that investigation. Ryan and Steph are there, and Ryan will ask you how it went, just like he did before.
So, how did things go with Charlotte?
And this time, I think she's okay is an option.
It was intense. But I think maybe she'll be okay. Honestly, I'm not sure how to even talk about it.
That's okay. You don't have to.
So that odd feeling you were feeling of like, is this okay or not, is definitely reflected more in Alex's journal. God, it hurt so bad for a minute. I wanted to burn down the whole world down, sit down in the street and let the flames peel me away, layer by layer. Instead, I swallowed it. I had to. Charlotte, suddenly just fine. Or maybe not fine, but safe at least for now. I keep telling myself it was the right thing to do, the only option I had, but when I remember her eyes, the way they looked at me but didn't really see me. And you were right to be weary of even how it affects you, because after listening to the phone call Gabe made, it's not good.
Alex, you okay?
We're gonna get him. I promise.
What the hell?
Oh, it doesn't matter. None of it fucking matters. He's dead. He's...
Fuck that. I don't need to take this.
I should follow her. We'll be right downstairs, all right?
But see, all of Charlotte's anger is inside Alex. She is just pumped with it. It just is affecting other people more than she'd want. And you're like, okay, I'm going to investigate alone.
Right now, all that matters is taking these fuckers down.
This USB stick has what I need. Time to dig through it.
But first, Mike sends that concerned message. Charlotte's oddly chipper about it.
Just dropped a block of alabaster. On purpose. Because I wouldn't stop digging.
And a new post comes through this time. Because Charlotte isn't grieving anymore, she decides to resume regular hours at the Silver Dragon again. I don't know, when you know the other side of it, it just makes the whole thing even, more uncomfortable to me. And Alex can look at the shattered bottle on the floor.
If that happened to me, what's happening to Charlotte?
It's pretty sad.
Gabe's call came in from the sat phone at 8:41 p.m. I should find the next call and see if that has any information.
Because you had this fight, you can't dive deeper into what Steph and Ryan are feeling or thinking, and they certainly can't help you investigate. After listening to Diane and Lena's phone call, Alex is the only one that makes comments.
So Typhon thought Rhea, whatever that is, was worth risking our lives. Let's hope Diane's email sheds more light.
And that extra phone call where Diane says that everything could have been prevented if someone just called the emergency line. Since Steph's not there, only Alex comments.
I almost threw up listening to that.
And of course, continuing into the emails, Alex still has to work out all of these details on her own.
So what is Rhea? Rhea went off undetected. A second blast went off that night? What did Lena say? Without the scheduled blast, Rhea will be discovered. It was a diversion.
They set off the blast that killed Gabe to cover up another one somewhere else. That's why they couldn't wait. If I can find out where that blast went off, it might tell me why it was so important.
This is Rhea. That's the site of the 2008 Typhon mine collapse. Why would they set off a blast in their current mine to cover up a blast in their old mine? Didn't Typhon just have inspections around the old site? They weren't mining for anything. They were burying something.
And the screen at the end of chapter 3 will show that Alex took Charlotte's anger away from her and Steph stormed out of the apartment. Now, at the start of chapter 4, you obviously investigated alone, but, Alex is still friends with Steph and Ryan, and they're a part of this too. So she does text them saying she figured it out and wants to talk. Ryan doesn't seem angry and tells her to meet them by the stage at the festival. Now, before you go to the spring festival, you can look at the statue, that original one that Charlotte likely gave to Gabe. And when you look at it, it's like all of the feelings that you took on from her anger come back.
When did I become such a fucking monster? Whoa. What was that? I can still feel some of Charlotte's anger from before.
And if you turn around, you can still see that broken trophy on the ground. You can't interact with it now, though.
Test.
Right when you get to the spring festival, after the initial kind of reaction about Alex's skirt, there will be a completely new dialogue that wasn't there at all if you left her anger, mostly between Steph and Alex, but Ryan's there too.
I need to apologize to you guys. What happened in the apartment, something really messed me up.
And you can tell them that your anger was due to helping Charlotte or hearing Gabe's voice.
Hearing Gabe's voice, I wasn't ready for that. I thought I was, but these past few weeks, I thought I had a handle on my emotions. But after what happened with Charlotte,
This part of the scene is the same regardless.
it's the same old story. I lose control, and I hurt the people I care about. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fuck that. If anyone needs to apologize, it's me. Ever since we've met, you've been there for me. And then when you're the one struggling, I bail. Not cool. I'm really sorry.
And then you have another dialogue option between I owe you a trophy and I guess we're both sorry.
If we're both sorry, does that just cancel everything out?
I think so. We're back to normal.
It's totally fine. But I still owe you a new trophy.
Let's play for it.
And this part's always the same too.
Not to spoil the moment, but Typhon blew up their own mine. Why?
I don't know yet. But we have all the evidence we need to nail them for Gabe's death.
One thing to note here is that when you take her anger and you have this big fight, you would think that it would affect the love score of Steph and Ryan. Yeah, there's a love score. But it actually doesn't change anything about the love score at all. Your relationship with either Steph or Ryan or both isn't affected by this choice. So you can rest assured that if you're going for a love score, trying to get that ending with a really passionate affection, you could choose either of these and it doesn't matter. And at the Spring Festival, Charlotte still comes up to you after that fabulous concert, but it's a little bit different.
Hey, Charlotte.
How deep do you think? The lake, I mean.
I don't know.
I felt horrible this afternoon. I didn't know if I could survive that feeling. But now, it's like when your leg falls asleep. And even though it's still attached, it's become something other than you. whole life, I've always felt so deeply. But maybe this is better?
You do have some dialogue choices. You can say, this might be good, or I'm sorry.
Charlotte, I'm so sorry.
Sorry for what?
I didn't mean for any of this to happen.
Me neither.
There's no shame in needing to feel numb for however long it lasts, if it gets you through another day.
I don't feel ashamed. But I take your point. Thank you. At least I can survive numbness.
Either way, she stays weirdly detached.
Good to see you, Alex. Have fun at the festival.
And just like with Leave Anger, if you sign the affidavit, Pike's journal entry will read, I thought of Charlotte, of what I'd done to her anger. I thought it would help, but God, she's been so off. I didn't think I could do that again to anyone else, so I signed his fucking release. And if you take his fear, I thought of Charlotte, of what I'd done to her anger. What if I took Pike's fear, swallowed it, made it mine? Would it do to him what it did to Charlotte? I had to take the risk. And after you go back to your apartment, Alex can look at the shattered glass on the ground while thinking about Steph and Ryan's involvement.
Looks like I'm on my own now. I don't want to drag Ryan and Steph in any deeper.
And the end screen of Chapter 4 will show that Charlotte felt weirdly detached at the festival. And at the town council meeting, there's only one variation that will be possible. No matter what, Charlotte will definitely turn her back on Alex.
Charlotte.
No. Leave me alone. I don't want any more of this.
They killed Gabe.
What are you trying to do? Take down Typhon? I won't bring him back. All I know is everything falls to shit when you're involved. There's something wrong with you, Alex. And now there's something wrong with me. I can't help you. I'm sorry.
No matter what choices you make, if you choose to take her anger, no support from Charlotte. And because you don't have support from Charlotte, that also means that Ryan is not going to believe you in the end either.
Why are you doing this?
Now, I have another video about this, of Ryan and how to get him to believe you. And Charlotte is a required choice. There are other required choices too, so definitely check that video out if you haven't already.
My dad is not a murderer.
This leads to a whole chain of events, depending if you met Ryan on the roof and other choices. So we can't go into that here. So after the town council meeting, you're in your apartment, you're lying on your bed, and there's a montage, and like all of a sudden, what? The foosball trophy is back on the mantle? That doesn't make any sense. It's in the same handwriting. It's not a replacement. So what do you think? Game error, or was Max involved?
So cheesy.
While you're thinking about that trophy, check out the sculpture one last time.
Was Charlotte's response all my fault? Or would she have turned on me no matter what?
Don't forget to check your text because Charlotte writes you again, but this time it's not so good. She does feel bad for not believing you, but then she just sort of disappears. It's very ominous. You could tell that Alex was really concerned because there's also another text from Ethan, and there's an exchange there that goes back and forth about making sure she's okay. And Ethan feels like it's his time to step up, which might be a good thing, but like, no, he's too young. He doesn't need to be taking care of his mom. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. He needs to just be a kid. If for no other reason, I don't like this choice because of that text from Ethan. But okay, anyway, in Gabe's prediction about what will happen if Alex stays in Haven, only Ethan is playing video games in the apartment. Charlotte is not there anymore. None of these choices affect Ethan's relationship with Alex. He still thinks she's the coolest of the cool. And if you choose the Seek Adventure ending, Charlotte and Ethan will not be at the bus stop no matter what. They're not there. And there will not be a picture of Charlotte and Ethan in Alex's guitar case. But in case you're wondering, if Alex ends up seeking adventure completely on her own, Ethan still will text her. Again, he still has a good relationship with Alex. And the Your Choices screen at the end of Chapter 5 will definitely show Charlotte turned her back on Alex. And of course, the 2 Ryan results will depend on other choices you made in the game, but it is not possible for him to support Alex in the vote. Okay, I hope that helped. If there's anything else that you're aware of, definitely let me know in the comments. I went through everything very thoroughly. I've played this game more times than the QA department probably, but I'm sure there's things that are missing because there's so many small details. So definitely let me know, and I will update this if I have a lot more to add. Talk to you later. Bye.